Hello, everyone. Today we are kicking off our testimonials and case studies for the MoMBA program. Thank you for your patience as I set up the tech and let our guest in. Hi, Holly.
Hello. I think my sound's not on.
We can hear you.
Oh.
And I just renamed myself. So for those watching the recording or just coming in, I think I will make just a couple of adjustments and we will get started right away. I hope the right people are the right people. See, okay, I think we're good. All right. So for those of you watching us, and I'm going to admit, we have Jacqueline coming in. I will introduce Holly in just 1 second, and we will start our case study of some results that women can expect when they join the MoMBA community. And there you go. I had an FAQ post pulled up that I will share later today. Just give me. So we're going to be talking about the MoMBA program. If you are attending some of our sessions today, you're going to learn more about this program. And I wanted to start by saying, who is this for? This is a leadership and a professional and personal growth program designed specifically for moms and caregivers and parents around the decade around childbearing years. And it's people whose identity was really defined by their career up until they had kids. And then they had kids and their experience of life completely changed. And they realized that they need new tools and a new mindset to succeed in working parenthood, because you have less time, you have less energy. And Holly, today you are counting on your 2 kids napping to be here today. So if you want to find out more, we'll cover all the FAQs of the program later, and we will jump right into Holly's experience of the program and her answers to the questions that I have for her today. So let us start with an introduction. Can you tell us about you, your family, and your profession?
So yeah, I'm a mom of 2, and it's a 2-year-old daughter and a 3.5-month-old son. So currently on maternity leave right now. And yes, I was didn't know if the baby would go to sleep at this time, but it worked out today. I'm like, let's stay asleep for the time being. I'm also a research scientist for Natural Resources Canada with the Government of Canada. I have a PhD in chemical engineering, and I do research related to, I'll say in a broadly sense, climate change technology. So that's the 2 sides of me, and definitely becoming a mom has made it challenging, but we're figuring it out.
I'm so grateful that your kids decided to sleep today. It was a bit of and thank you for your courage too. It takes quite a bit of juggling to get 2 down at the same time. So Holly, you've been participating in Pros and Babes training in the MoMBA program for the last months, and I would love to hear about your experience. My first question is, how did you gain more confidence, knowledge, and support as a working mom? And how was the community and the program a catalyst for those results? And it would really help if you gave us specific examples of before and after, so people can see the arc and the results. And for those of you watching us today, we take a holistic approach. So we really divide the program into buckets, into pillars: mindset, relationships, leadership, finances, work-life integration, health. We really take a big picture approach to your success as a working parent. So Holly, the more tangible results you could give us of the before and after, that would help people to know what they can expect from participating in this program.
Okay. So my before, I think I came across and met you like right before I was heading back to work. And I was a complete chaotic mess at that point. Like, I did not know how, first of all, it was my first child. I became very connected to her, maybe because of being at home with COVID or something. I was just didn't want to leave her alone, but knew that my career was also important, and I didn't want, like, I went through 10 years of school, did a PhD, loved doing research. So you're fighting two sort of loves, I guess, of how am I going to do this? And so my before state, and I had, like, I kind of went through that transition without joining the program at first, because it was just, everything was overwhelming at that time, but I knew I needed something at that time to get through, like, it more. Like, I did the daycare transition without the MoMBA program, but I still had I want to say, support a little bit in that transition. But then I hopped into the program once I got a little bit stable, but I still felt like I was still overwhelmed, didn't know, I didn't feel like I was in control of what I was doing at work and what I was doing at home. And so I just needed something to bring that overwhelm down. So in I want to say a broad sense, but how the program helped specifically. So one, it helped focus what I wanted to do. So my first thing that I did was the 25, first the values game. So that was interesting. I did it with my husband, and to find out that you have the same values, and we just need to figure out how that kind of goes into life. And I think the thing that really, like, pushed me forward is the 25-year vision board. So working on that, I didn't think I was that lost in my career before having kids, but I was, like, I didn't know what I was doing. I knew what I loved about my career, but I just didn't know what I needed to do with that. I felt like I wasn't going, or I didn't get maybe the position that I wanted, or where I was before I had kids, and then we had kids, and it was causing some challenging in that. And the vision board really showed me that I already am doing what I thought I would be doing, and that I'm headed in that direction that I ultimately want as well. And it also doesn't necessarily have to be specific, but I knew I wanted to be still doing research when it comes to climate change technologies. And yeah, so I was able to focus that. And then how I integrated that with my family, I knew what I wanted to show my children, like who was I going to be to them when I got to 25 years, which was very interesting, very emotional too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted to, and my life as a scientist was also life as a mom. My kids would see that. And I mean, my daughter already is doing all little science experiments, which is kind of neat. Not that I necessarily expect her to follow in my footsteps, but she sees that mommy likes it, and it's very exciting. She even has a little lab coat, which you've seen. So it was able to help me see it and believe that that's what I can do, and not feel like where am I going? What am I doing? I just felt completely out of control of what I was doing as a mom. And it was not a fun feeling. Yeah.
A lot of moms like you, Holly, and first of all, before I continue with my sentence, thank you for your courage to share how you felt. It can feel very isolating, and you think you're alone in experiencing feeling chaotic, because you've got incredible credentials. You've got a PhD in chemical engineering, but you didn't have the same type of 10-year PhD training to become a mom or a working mom. And it requires a different set of skills, and bringing both worlds together feels very overwhelming for many, many scientists, many engineers, but it can feel hard to share that with the world, because the expectation is we have it all figured out, right? So thank you for your courage in sharing your experience. You are not alone. I speak to many women in your position, and this is very common. So what is very unique about what we did together is bringing together the motherhood aspect of your life and the career part of your life. And what I see in many moms like you is they feel like they're not compatible for many people. They feel like you can do one and the other and be good at both, and then the perfectionist comes in. So in the 25-year vision, which might seem daunting at first for people, and by the way, whoever joined, if you could change your name to your real name, I would really appreciate that. I ask you to bring that together, that 25-year vision. That can feel daunting, but most people are able to go through the process. It's a high level picture. And I ask, what will your daughter say about you as a scientist in 25 years? You're doing very important work for the next generation. And if you wanted her to be proud of you in 25 years, what would you like for her to see about your work, right? So tell us more about the experience of this exercise. I think it brought up a lot of emotions and wondering, what should I or shouldn't I tell my daughter? What ultimately came up for you in this exercise as we did the lab coat and the pictures and all of that?
Yeah, that's the big question. First of all, you mentioned perfectionism. I had a hard time actually doing the exercise at first. I wanted it to be perfect, and I think that's also it's something that like stalls you, as you want to be perfect at both, and accepting that it's not always going to be perfect. I also, in the process of doing it, learned to like throw ideas down, and it doesn't need to be perfect thrown down. And then all of a sudden you have this vision and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, it all makes sense. But I was gonna say, I also, when it comes to my daughter, I think even just not having to have this like overwhelm as well. Like I want her to see me like strong, and you said courageous too, to do this. Like don't fear having a career and being a mom at the same time. Like I want her to see that with me. I don't want to I don't want her to see me like drowning in life, that I'm like enjoying life. Yes, there's hard things. We're still getting through the emotional aspects of life. I'm very used to like keeping emotions hidden, I want to say. So just, yeah, different aspects of that to show my daughter and give her that example, just by doing, instead of telling her that this is the way it should be. It's like, no, mommy's living this life and this is how she wanted it to be, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So now that the worst part of the chaos is somewhat behind, I mean, it comes in waves, obviously, you're at the infant stages, but you've got that 25-year vision, you feel that there's more focus. How do you think that impacts productivity, to actually have your mind more committed in a new way to your profession, to the scientific profession as a mother? How can that impact parents' productivity when they can connect both worlds and feel like they can do both?
So I think I'm going to pull out a tool that I like took full embrace into it when I first started the program, was time blocking. Like my calendar is all different colors now, or was. I have less time blocking with a newborn, but when I was working, I was able to focus those certain chunks of time, and during those times I kept the focus, and you felt more productive, that you were doing what you planned to do during that time. And then you didn't have to worry about those other things, because you know that you've had those times for those things. And yeah, it made a whole world of difference. My brain wasn't like, while I'm with my daughter, thinking about something that I should have been doing at work. It's like when I was at work, I knew she was in daycare. I was focusing on what I was doing for work, and I found like, I don't know, I definitely felt more in control of what I was doing at work, and I didn't have to worry. I mean, the odd day, the sick call would come in, like your daughter's sick at daycare, but for the most part, you focused on work, and then once that was done, it's you go get her. And when we came home, it was supper time and family time, and that was my focus. And yeah, that's what I did. So that helped a lot, the time blocking.
Good. When I see progressive leaders thinking about retaining more working moms, more working parents in STEM, is they acknowledge that when, especially women, and then there's obviously an effect on the partner, you have this huge mental load added, and maybe even this guilt of continuing to work. Many women want to work, but there's this feeling of guilt. How does a community of other parents, of other moms like you who share those feelings, help you stay committed to the long-term journey versus constantly questioning, is this the right thing for me? So you're not alone in this mental load. You're starting to have tools to manage it. You have a longer term vision for your career. Is that helpful for you as a scientist, as somebody who felt somewhat lost and now has more hope?
Yeah, so the community part of it, definitely, like seeing other women, not that we want other people to struggle, but to see that you're not alone, but also maybe it's something that you grew into the chat too, but also we're a bunch of engineers that solve problems. And so just having people that, acknowledging that, yes, I went through that, and here's something that worked for me, and you get a bunch of solutions or suggestions, and it's you get to choose whatever you want to try, and or just that feeling of you're not alone going through that definitely helps. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that we hear reinforced over and over again. You're not alone. You're focused on solutions and moving forward versus stewing in the, very difficult, especially the first months, and not only. How do you think the program is something that helps you change your relationship with time versus just adding another task to your to-do list? We know that participation in the program can ebb and flow for parents, and we've designed it in such a way that we can meet people where they are. But does it feel like it's helped you evolve your relationship with time versus thinking there's never enough time in the day?
It very, very, very much. I was actually just talking to my husband about this, about how I have made use of every minute of the day, I want to say, or every hour of the day. And even if we're throwing a curveball where my daughter was up at 5:30 this morning instead of 6:30 or 7. So kind of you got to be flexible, but making use of the time, my mind definitely has changed when it comes to that. And what was I going to say about?
I think one of the concerns that women have about joining the program, moms, parents, is, am I just going to add something to my to-do list? I'm already overwhelmed. And we really take quite a scientific approach. We look at your time, we look at your values and your vision and what really matters and your boundaries, so that you stop overcramming your calendar with things that do not matter to your work and your family and your values. Most people are not aware of that. And so if you use the tools wisely and you commit to the process, the process is supposed to help you actually create more time or more breathing room versus feeling like you're completing another class and just checklists, right? So that's what I wanted to validate with you. Did it feel like just another thing on your to-do list, or did it help you actually manage your time differently?
Yeah, no, that's exactly. So I definitely hasn't added to it, unless I try to do something maybe huge, but I do little snippets of even when I'm just resting before the kids come up or wake up in the morning, I'll go do a few of the exercises, or I listen to one of the recorded sessions. I think I was doing laundry. I had earphones on and I was just putting some laundry in while they napped. Or when they go to bed, a lot of the time, that's when I do a little bit, instead of scrolling through, say, too much social media, I've been adopting doing this instead. So yeah, very short. I don't, other than the 25-year vision takes a little bit of focus, but the other content, it's very, very short. And I definitely, my brain was able to handle that on top of the two kids. So very manageable. Yeah, definitely didn't think that it was extra. I also see the offset of once you maybe learn something or integrate something, then you're gaining like I spent some time, I'm just looking at it now, it's the 3-week meal plan rotation. And so now I don't have to worry about what am I going to make for supper or what's my husband going to make for supper. We just look at that and nobody's questioning the $1 million question of what's for supper tonight after being at work all day. So
yeah. So the principles too, for those of you who like process principles, right? Step-by-step things, we look at really at what matters to you, redefining that, recommitting to that, and then systematizing what matters to you so that it reduces your mental load. You're not making decisions over and over again. You look at it in bulk in a long-term way, and then also in shorter term way, so that you really change your relationship with time. And people often say, I used to be so overwhelmed and there was never enough time in the day before the program. And now I feel much more calm, more peaceful, more focused on what matters to me. Again, you're not going to feel like that every single day because you have children who are unpredictable, but you should certainly find less overwhelm and more calm in your days. How is this program different from other ways that moms or parents gather for you, Holly? How does this bring the professional and personal together in a unique way?
So I still feel like I started it while I think things were still online, but it actually worked because you could do it anywhere you wanted to. You still felt connected. Like I don't even know where any of the moms live necessarily, but you feel connected to them. And yeah, you don't necessarily have to see them in person to feel the same or to get something from the interaction. So it's definitely, I feel like I know people that are across Canada.
Yes.
So yeah, for sure.
That brings the intersection of personal and professional too, in a way that you don't have to know the person really intimately, but you can still build that trust because of the professional credentials and knowing their mothers and going through the same struggles as you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Why are you excited about the prospect of employers supporting this program and possibly colleagues being able to do this along your side and benefiting from the same structure?
I think because I've seen, even before I became a mom myself, I've seen some people with kids and they just always sort of seem maybe overwhelmed as well. And I didn't know what that was like until I actually became a mom myself. And to have even just that support, I think it'll benefit employers, that you're going to have these employees that are more focused when they're actually at work, and then they are happy like relatively at home. Like both, you're going to have your off days obviously, but they feel like they're enjoying both aspects of their life, and they don't have to get rid of, well, you can't really necessarily get rid of your family, but you're not going to get rid of your career necessarily, or don't feel like you have to, because I definitely went through that mindset of maybe I just stop what I'm doing right now to focus on that. I didn't think that I could do it both at the same time without sacrificing one. So yeah.
Excellent. And everybody who's thinking of joining might have some hesitations, either about time, sometimes about the financial investment. Now we're finding that more and more employers or grants are able to cover the tuition. So perhaps other than the financial investment, did you have any concerns or hesitations about committing to the program?
I think, well, so financial was a big one, but I overcame that anyways myself. But I think I was also worried about the time and if it was actually going to do anything. Like I was looking for something that wasn't going to be like a waste of my time, because again, you don't have a lot of time. I was looking for tools that I could integrate into everything that I was doing. And yeah, it was doable. Like having that opportunity to do it on your own time, but also having a place too that you can come together with the other moms at the same time was very useful. I also found the whole accountability too. So you can learn things, but if you don't actually have someone necessarily checking in on you, or some way of accountability, not necessarily a person checking in on you, but you felt like if you make some progress, it was very useful in actually making things work. So yeah.
Thank you. So if one of my last questions, is there anything that you would like people to know if they're considering if the program is a fit for them? What would you recommend to them?
Oh man.
Is it easy to talk to me about it if they have any questions?
Is it? Oh, it is. Yes, like I said before, many times I talked to you before I joined the program. And you were even helping me transition into the daycare and back to work without even me being part of the program. So yes.
Yeah. Did you feel heard and supported as you were considering the program, or do you feel pressured and
No, I feel like I know you. Also, I've never met Kenya in person, always through video chat, and you definitely, it's more of a personalized feeling, not just some other program. I want to say, like, you're genuinely wanting to help us feel less overwhelmed. Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us, Holly. I'm so glad that your kids are sleeping while we're doing this testimonial. Again, I will be in about 15 minutes. I'll be doing another case study with another mom who is actually in Ontario. So she'll be sharing her journey. And in today's session, the networking session, open house and personal branding session will give you more chances to interact with participants. And we will share over the next few days some FAQs. So who is this program for? What kind of results can you expect? What is the structure? How can you apply for funding, right? Some employers have pre-approved funding for groups. So we can talk about that certainly. And that will all be available. You can also message me and book a call. And you can apply for the program until August 30th to start in September. So Holly, thank you very much for your time. I will take a pause of about 15 minutes. And for those of you watching the recording, you can always reach out to us at info@prosandbabes.com if you're watching this video at a later time and not attending live sessions. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks a lot, Holly. And thank you,
Thanks.
Patty and Jacqueline and Liba for joining us here.
Bye.
Bye.